The world changed on the 11th of September 2001, when 4 airliners hijacked by Al-Qaeda, an Islamist terrorist group, attacked New York's World Trade Center and the Pentagon in Washington. 2,996 people died. It was the worst act of terrorism on American soil, and the first time the mainland United States had experienced warfare since 1867. Americans were united in shock, grief, and anger. For the only time in history so far, the United States invoked Article 5 of the NATO Treaty, obliging all its allies to come to its aid. In response to the attack, President George W. Bush launched the War on Terror, designed to root out Al-Qaeda terrorists around the world. The Taliban government of Afghanistan had sheltered Al-Qaeda and its leader, Osama bin Laden. It was America's first target. As a loyal ally, Britain had a common interest in defeating anti-Western terrorists and took part in the Afghanistan campaign. A democratic, pro-Western government was set up in Kabul, the Afghan capital. But American and British forces were drawn into the conflict to protect it against ousted Taliban fighters. RAF crews supported British forces on the ground by providing air support, reconnaissance, and by delivering supplies. Pilots were instructed to remain on the ground in remote areas for no more than 30 seconds because of the risk of attack. America's second target in the War on Terror was Iraq. President Bush accused its dictator, Saddam Hussein, of having links with Al-Qaeda and of secretly developing weapons of mass destruction. Despite opposition from NATO allies in Europe, the British government sided with the Americans, and the RAF took part in the 2003 invasion, which quickly overthrew the Iraqi government. Like the Suez Crisis in 1956, British involvement strongly divided public opinion. The British government was also embarrassed by the failure to actually find any weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. The RAF supported the British military occupation of the city of Basra in southern Iraq. But like American soldiers elsewhere in the country, British forces came under attack from Iraqi rebels. In 2005, 9 airmen and a soldier were killed when an RAF Hercules aircraft was shot down. The British withdrew from Basra in 2007, the same year that homegrown Islamist terrorists struck London, killing 52 people. All RAF operations in Iraq stopped in 2009. This was the same year that US President Barack Obama took power. Americans were now weary of the War on Terror, and the new president looked to scale back involvement in the conflicts started by President Bush. The US withdrew combat forces from Iraq in 2011. But international events made it difficult to avoid the intervention of Western countries abroad. A civil war in Libya in 2011 saw the RAF deployed to evacuate British civilians and attack targets of the oppressive Libyan government, helping to assure a rebel victory. Meanwhile, the American withdrawal from Iraq and a civil war in Syria led to an extreme Islamist organization, ISIS, seizing power across parts of Iraq and Syria. Its regime was brutal. Torture, kidnapping, mass executions, and slavery were used to control the territories ISIS conquered. It exported terror abroad. In June 2015, 30 British holidaymakers were murdered by an ISIS gunman on the beaches of Tunisia. Paris was attacked in November. The RAF was deployed to strike ISIS targets alongside American Canadian pilots. All ISIS territory was freed from their rule by 2019.